Let's create a custom X ads audience. Usually on X, when you create an ad campaign, you would pick some topics like people in media or people who like sports, for example. And within these pockets of people, you don't really know who you're targeting. You don't know if they're active. And with Fedica, there's tons of tools that you can pull different chunks of people together to create a custom X ads audience. And what's great about it is you can make sure that these people are active and they are actually relevant to the ad campaign that you want to run. So let's look at the ways that we can create an X ads audience with all the tools you get with Fedica. So how it typically works is we are going to go to the various tools and we will gather audience groups and we will just add them to lists. Or you can send them right to these X ad campaigns, but with the lists, you can always analyze them as well. So you just need to go to the manage and you can manage lists. And here's where you see all of your lists. And then across the service, there's a lot of options where you can always save the users that you find in a report or an analysis, and you can send it to the lists here. So let's go take a peek first at a hashtag and keyword analysis report, for example. So let's say we are looking at users who are enjoying anime and they're from Brazil, for example. We did an analysis. There was a new TV show that announced and everybody was talking about it and it blew up. And so from here, we found a lot of stats and whatnot. And so let's say our product has to do with this and we would like these people in an X ads campaign or just a list that we would go reach out to. So we would just go to this report and we would find that list of people here. So here in the list of posts, this is everybody who engaged. You can add that to a list and you can also add the top engagers as well to a list. So let's do that here. We'll add them to a list. So this is the X-Men engagers who engaged with that campaign. We're going to send it to a Fedica list, okay? So we're going to check that out later. But I want to show you as well, when you do an analysis like this, you can pinpoint geographically, which is pretty cool. So let's go to the interactive map. We might find the people from Brazil and we will add them to the campaign. Or for example, we might just go for people in the US, knowing that our ads are going to be in English, for example. Perfect. X-Men USA engagers, and we're going to send that to a list. There we go. Let's go to now another part of the service. If we want to, let's say, match people who like Marvel, for example, with that whole X-Men campaign, then we can go sort our followers now and find people who are already interested in that. We might add some words in profile like Marvel, comics, anime, and we can also make sure to get that location, or what's better is language actually. Let's just make sure they speak English so that when we do this ad campaign, we're not going to be worried about that. Plus, if you want, you can also add the activity. So last active, like within the last year, let's say, or maybe 6 months, something like that. And now we know when we do this ad campaign, we're sending it to people who are actually active. So let's apply these filters and see what we get from our followers here. So now all we need to do is select all these people from our followers with the sort follower tool, and then we can send it to that X ads audience, or we can add it to that list. Perfect. So I'm going to send it to the list there. Great. Now let's say, for example, we have a content queue in our calendar and we always talk about comics, let's say, or anime, and we may talk about other stuff, but we sort of organize our posts based on topic. So if you do something like that, you can take, let's say, this blue queue here, and you can go to your analytics and you can filter by that. So you can grab the time frame that you want, you can filter it by that queue. So let's say that blue queue, which is our Australia queue, for example, you can pull all the people out talking about that topic, or you can mention those keywords for those posts, because the top engagers, the people who are engaging with those posts, would be listed here, and you can do the same thing. You can go and add them to a list. So let's say, for example, these are the people who are into comics, they might be into X-Men, and we have something to sell them. So let's go add them to that list. So these are the post engagers, the people who engaged with us. And they're not just our followers, they could be anybody who engaged with us. Finally, what you can do is go to the search and explore tool, where tons of people use this to search bios, like finding people in marketing, for example. But we can take this criteria and we can have people who like Marvel, or even just words in their posts in general. So I'm going to add X-Men 97, keep it related to that campaign. And if they have Marvel in their profile, it's going to find them as well. So in this case, what's actually better for us is if we're trying to do an ad campaign, we're going to search for everybody who has just talked about X-Men 97, for example, and who actually has been active. Like the last 6 months, for example, they have a profile photo. They don't need to be verified, but they have been active and they have been posting about this topic. So there you go. We'll keep the language English as well. And so we're going to search for all these people. And once we have that list, we're going to add it to that campaign. Perfect. So now we have just over 800 accounts. We can add that to the campaign, select all, and we are going to send it to that audience or to the list. So I'm going to send it to a list and just call it the X-Men 97 active posters. So this is anybody on the platform that we just searched based on what they posted. All we need to do now is add all of these lists to our X ad campaigns. So let's go to the first list of the engagers that we found and add them to the campaign here. So I'm going to call this Marvel campaign and we're going to add that there. So there we go. Let's go back to the lists here and then add the other groups. So we had those X-Men followers from our audience here. We had the X-Men post engagers. Then we have the USA engagers that we pulled from that campaign. And of course, the active posters that we searched for. Now you might think we're ready to send, but wait, there is more. You can actually find super fans of this topic if you look for people who are following different accounts. So you might want to do this actually if you want to compare accounts here. You might create a report where you're comparing the followers of multiple accounts that would be interested in seeing your stuff. So if you have something in a niche where you know there is a thought leader or a competitor of yours, you might use this tool to go find the followers who are either following you and them, and so they're more open to ideas, or they're following two specific people that could hint to you that they are interested in what you have to offer. So X-Men updates, and we are going to also add Universo X-Men like this. And so now we have 47,000 followers that are definitely interested in X-Men that we can add to this campaign as well. And you'll find that report when you click manage and then to manage lists here. Once you have your report created, you have the follower overlap where you can compare both follower groups of these accounts. And so here it's 2,500 people. We can just add them right to that X ads audience. So let's send it to the Marvel campaign we were doing. And there you go. So now we have 7,000 accounts ready for a super targeted ad campaign, knowing that these people are interested in your offer and they're actually active. So we can send it to X just like that. Let's go here and send that campaign. Now, just to let you know, it's going to take some time. The larger the group, the longer it might take, and it might take multiple days, but it's definitely worth it because you are going to save ad spend on this. And for us, it wasn't that bad. So what you're looking for here is ready for targeting. That means it's sent to X ads. And when you create that campaign, you can go through the regular process. And once you get to the piece where you can add an audience or upload an audience, you can just filter from this group and it's going to be named Marvel campaign. You'll see it there. Sometimes the audience is too small. We will let you know. And when it's ready to send, it's just pending right now. So when you're on X ads here, you're just going to launch a campaign as usual. And when you create a new campaign, let's just go for website traffic here. Now, all you have to do is scroll down to the audience section here where you can include the list that you have. So for example, we have a list that we uploaded here and it's going to target those people. We're just going to wait for that Marvel campaign to upload. When it's there, you're going to find it here and that's all you have to do. And so if you have any questions about this, we're always happy to help and just let us know.